Well, for my first interaction, I took a friend, Hannah Wood, with me to St. John's Student Parish on MAC, and it was her first experience going to church. In the beginning, like before I ended up taking her to Mass with me, I was pretty nervous about how the whole situation was going to go because I knew she's never been to a religious function before, so the only idea she had of how a church service would be from like TV or movies, and that's really not very accurate for how St. John's runs. She was like stereotyping the church, saying how she thought it was gonna be super strict and very conservative and not really that good of a time. But once I got her there, it completely turned around. Once after I like got her in church and we were like sitting down, she was on my nerves like left. I'm sure she was still pretty nervous because this was her first interaction with the church service, but as the church like mass progressed and I calmed down and I was having a good time obviously, and I really think she started to have a good time also because she was looking around, like her posture, she was like sitting up straight. At first she was kind of like slumping down and like keeping to herself and like just looking around, like staring and not saying much, but like halfway through she was starting to like interact. She was singing along, which I was really surprised about because I didn't think she was going to, and she was asking questions like when there was like a little downtime to like talk, when they were like switching speakers or switching songs or anything like that. So I thought she was picking up on it, but then the only really unfortunate, like not unfortunate, but like bad time for her was when we had to go get communion because Hannah's never gone through first communion or like reconciliation or confirmation, and so she's technically not supposed to get the wine and bread. And so no one was really giving her dirty looks as they walked past her, but they were kind of a little like looking at her funny, like trying to figure out why she wasn't getting up to go get it. And obviously she didn't know that answer because I didn't have enough time to explain it to her. But once I got back and sat down, she understood completely and then realized people weren't like giving her dirty looks. They were just trying to like figure out why. Um, after we after church, I felt great. I was like so happy she was able to come with me and like experience this because it's something she's never done before. And we just talked about how she was like making stereotyping the church and like making it seem how it not really was, and just like basing it off her ideas of what the church actually was. And so that was different. Um, I realized that I like growing up in this culture and like having a religious family. And I basically was stereotyping other families also because I always figured that students and like not students but like kids grew up in a religious setting and like went to church every Sunday, but that's really not the case at all. I have a lot of friends now that I'm realizing that don't go to church or do not have religious parents or a family or anything, and it's not sad, but I wish they like went through that experience also because I think it's great having a religion that like you're 100% into and believe in, and I think it helps a lot. And I think Hannah really enjoyed the church. At first, she was definitely nervous and uncomfortable because she wasn't sure how to act, what to wear, how she should like present herself to others. But halfway through, she realized that St. John's wasn't super strict. It's not conservative. They aren't like keeping you like toes on the line kind of thing. They all are just basically there to like talk about God, learn about God. And I think overall she enjoyed it. So maybe she'll have to come with us more often.